Every morning at exactly 6:45, the same scene played out on Maplewood Lane. A little girl, maybe 8 or 9, walked down the cracked sidewalk in her oversized purple jacket, holding the leash of a shaggy golden retriever. She always waved to the early risers, the man who jogged past with headphones, the retired couple sipping coffee on their porch, the mail carrier sorting letters by the curb. Her name was Emily. Her dog's name was Buddy. To most people, they looked like any ordinary pair, a girl and her dog, starting the day like clockwork. But no one knew the truth. Not yet. It was Mrs. Dalton who first started to notice something unusual. A widow in her 70s, she spent most mornings knitting by the window. Over time, she began watching Emily and Buddy with curiosity. The girl always walked the same route, 1 block down, 2 blocks over, looped through the park, then back home. Her stride never changed, her timing was precise, and the leash in her hand never tugged. That was the first clue. Buddy never pulled, never lagged, never paused to sniff a tree or chase a squirrel. He moved beside her like clockwork. Always slightly behind her left foot. Always waiting for her cues. And then, one morning, Mrs. Dalton saw something that made her sit up straight in her chair. As the girl passed the post at the corner where the sidewalk dipped, she tapped her foot twice. Buddy stopped. She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a folded stick, a white cane tipped with red. Mrs. Dalton's breath caught. The little girl was blind. The realization spread slowly through the neighborhood, passed in hushed conversations and raised eyebrows. How is that possible? She walks so confidently. She seems to know exactly where she's going. And that dog, he doesn't act like a guide dog. They were right. Buddy didn't wear a harness or vest. He didn't have the typical look of a trained service dog. He was scruffy, floppy-eared, a little too cheerful. Yet every morning, Emily navigated curbs, corners, and crosswalks as if she could see them. And Buddy was always right there, steady, loyal, alert. It didn't make sense. Until one day, everything changed. It was a chilly October morning when the incident happened. Emily and Buddy had just entered the park when a cyclist came flying down the trail, ignoring the pedestrian signs. His front tire hit a patch of wet leaves, and he lost control, skidding toward the sidewalk. Buddy reacted first. He lunged, planting himself between Emily and the oncoming bike. The cyclist swerved hard to avoid the dog, clipped a trash can, and crashed into the grass. Emily hadn't moved. She stood frozen, her cane still folded in her pocket. Buddy nudged her leg gently, then licked her hand. Only then did she kneel down and wrap her arms around him. The jogger who witnessed the whole thing was stunned. He helped the cyclist up, then approached Emily. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded. "I'm fine. Buddy saved me. Like always." He hesitated. You're really blind?" She smiled and turned her face slightly toward his voice. "Since I was 4. But, how do you walk like that every day?" Her answer was simple. "Because Buddy sees for me." The story went viral after that. The jogger wrote a post online, sharing the details with a photo of Emily and Buddy sitting on the park bench. It was shared, reshared, picked up by news outlets, and before long, the little girl and her dog became local heroes. Reporters came. People donated to a fund for Emily's education. A non-profit offered to provide her with an official guide dog, but she politely declined. "I already have the best guide in the world," she said, wrapping her arms around Buddy's neck. "He learned just for me." That's when the full truth came out. Buddy had not been professionally trained. He was a rescue, a dog Emily's parents had adopted from a shelter after she lost her vision to a rare illness. The trainers told them Buddy was unfit for service work. Too playful. Too distracted. Too stubborn. But Emily didn't believe that. Every day, she and Buddy practiced together. She taught him how to stop at corners, to sit at curbs, to recognize the sound of incoming traffic. They created their own system, taps of her foot, clicks of her tongue, whispered commands known only to the two of them. Her parents were cautious, terrified at first. But Emily was determined. And Buddy? He never let her down. Now, the neighborhood looks at Emily differently. Not with pity. With awe. She still walks every morning, still follows the same path, still waves to everyone she passes. But now, people wave back with more than just polite nods. They see something greater than a little girl and her dog. They see trust. Courage. A bond so deep it rewrites what anyone thought was possible. And here's the part that matters most. Emily didn't need perfect vision to move through the world. She just needed belief in herself, and in the one soul who always believed in her too. Buddy may never have passed the tests. But he passed the only one that ever mattered. Because when the world says you can't, love says, let's try anyway. And sometimes, that's all it takes to change everything.